Good evening, welcome to this week's Live from the Livingroom session. This is the Songwriter Session, where every Wednesday night we have a different guest artist. And this week I'm joined by Pauline Vallance.
Well, I'm going to start with a song called Merino Mill Girl, and I'll tell you more about it afterwards. Patterns within patterns, shapes within shapes, lives interweaving like crochet or lace, mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, following tradition and following the threads, watch them unfurl. Merino Mill Girl, Merino Mill Girl. Do 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 do. I love Monday mornings, off to the mill. See all the girls, Maggie, Lucy and Jill, hear about their weddings or fights with their man. Never much money, but following the threads, watch them unfurl. Merino Mill Girl, Merino Mill Girl. Walking the streets now, the old mill is down, the mill clock is silent, the chatter is gone. Streets of new houses, a new care home too, filled with the memories and following the threads, watch them unfurl. Merino Mill Girl, Merino Mill Girl, Merino Mill Girl, Merino Mill Girl.
A beautiful start to the show there. That is Pauline Vallance here for Live from the Livingroom gigs. And if you'd like to get in touch with us on the show here, you can use the chat room if you've got any questions, or if you just want to say hello. And so if you want to ask Pauline anything about what's going on, because it's slightly a wee bit different tonight. We've got you've carted this thing in.
I have indeed. It's heavier than a guitar. I never mastered the guitar, so I'll tell you how I ended up playing this actually, if you like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'd kind of secretly always wanted to play, but my main instrument's flute, but you can't sing and play the flute at the same time.
That's a bit tricky.
It is tricky, and I also like singing. So about 10 years ago, down in Saltcoats, they were putting on classes where they're providing harps or clarsachs and lessons. So I went along to that and just laid my hands on a harp and thought, that's it, that's my instrument. And actually only started writing songs after I got this. So that's what actually inspired me to write songs. So you could literally see this instrument change my life.
Yes.
And if anybody's looking at it thinking, oh, it looks awful complicated, I wouldn't want to play it, it's not that bad. It's as complicated or as simple as you make it, really. And it's kind of like a keyboard up on its side. And I always forget to sort of introduce the instrument, actually, so I'll tell you a wee bit about it since we're talking about it. So if anybody can see, the red strings are C, and the black strings are F, for all the musos out there. And the levers up here change the key. They kind of raise the string by a semitone. And
So
that's how you change
where
key.
your sharps and flats are. So.
Yep. And that's it. And apart from that, it's like a keyboard up on its side. So if it wasn't for this instrument, I might not have started songwriting, and that's what I really love to do. So there we go.
So is that a harp or a clarinet? Or is there a difference between?
I think a clarsac's just a type of harp. I think it's actually the Gaelic word for harp.
I was wondering if it was just the Gaelic name for it.
Yeah, it is. There might be folk out there that know more than I do, whether there's more of a technical difference. But as far as I know, it's a type of harp. More a kind of Celtic instrument, a sort of folky instrument, because you can't do. It's not so easy to do key changes and accidentals in the middle of a song. It is possible, but you're flicking a lot of levers, so you tend to be in the one key, so that's why it's a bit more of a folk instrument. But so that's it. That's the difference.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have another example of your harp playing. What are you going to play for our second song tonight?
Well, can I tell you a wee bit about the first song?
Oh yes,
Because this came about in a really lovely way. I'm part of a group in Greenock that they do a series called Songwriters Uncovered. There's a woman called Sheila Mackay-Jones who organises it. So they put on 4 gigs a year for songwriters. And it's now been endorsed by the wonderful James Grant. And so last year he was doing a project in Greenock. He was looking for songwriters to work with him. And he gathered stories of people that lived and worked in Greenock and asked songwriters to choose a story and write a song about it. So I was asked, and I chose the song about the woman that worked in the Merino Mill, which is harder to say than it sounds. It's quite hard to say that. But and I just thought it was a lovely, happy story. She was really happy working in the mill, which hopefully comes across in the song. Yeah. So that was that. And we actually got to work a wee bit with James himself, which was awesome. You took your song ideas to him and he kind of helped develop them, and he actually performed with us as well. So we had a wee reprise a couple of weeks ago where I got to sing it again with James playing along. So that's why I had to explain about that song. I'm very pleased with that.
Absolutely.
It was awesome. Really lovely man to work with. So that was a bit long-winded. I'm sorry about that, but there we go.
But always fascinating to hear what's behind the songs, the stories that inspired them.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so will I do my next one? They've all got stories. They've all got stories behind them. So I'm happy to tell you a bit more about this one if you like.
Oh yeah, fine.
Well, I'll tell you a wee bit about it. Well, a couple of years ago, I went to a songwriting workshop run by Gretchen Peters, wonderful American singer-songwriter. And she suggested that if you're ever stuck for something to write about, you do a thing called morning pages, where you just wake up and before you do anything, just write for 10 minutes, anything that comes into your head.
It's the first thing that comes into your head when you wake up.
Yeah, anything at all. Just write for 10 minutes and then stop and then go back and look and see if there's anything worth making a song out of. So just after I'd been in the workshop, I was on holiday in Northumberland, which is beautiful, and this next song came to mind. So it's called Safe Haven, and it's just a direct result of doing morning pages. Okay. So there we go. The coloured boats are bobbing gaily on the quay, straining at their moorings, they long to be at sea, surrounded by the sea wall, so big and safe and strong. They long to be outside it, oh how can that be wrong? On the other side of safety, the sea churns up and down, spray crashes on the quayside like fragments of a crown. Who knows how deep the water, its depths have not been tried, so best to wait in safety for the turning of the tide. You are my safe haven from all the crashing waves, my safe haven when I just can't be brave. You will protect me from all the raging seas. You are my safe haven from possibilities. I'm scared to venture outside into the open sea. I want to hug the coastline, I'm frightened to be free. I don't know what I'll cope with, I might be in too deep. So I should curl up inside, and I could go to sleep. But what if I don't test myself and try out something strange? I'll never know what I can do and really test my range. The wild sea can be beautiful and scary just the same. It's time to turn the corner, 'cause life's not just a game. You were my safe haven from all the crashing waves, my safe haven when I just can't be brave. You did protect me from all the raging seas. You were my safe haven from possibilities. You know the future scares me, it's tempting just to stay or put off my decision until another day. Nobody will judge me, I'm still the same old me. It's time to leave it all behind and face the unknown sea. So it's goodbye to my safe haven and face the crashing waves. My safe haven, it's time to be brave. You did protect me from all the raging seas. Goodbye safe haven, hello possibilities. Hello possibilities. Hello possibilities.
That's a beautiful song. I love that one. You played that. I think last time I saw you, you were playing at the Gallery of Modern Arts. You did a session down there. So a wee shout out to Ernesto of the Miscellaneous Collective, who puts those nights on. Who was doing a guest artist session here a few weeks ago, and so you were playing that one down there. You're quite you're playing out quite a lot, aren't you? You're away to another gig tonight after this one.
I am. I know it's a inability to say no to some things, but I didn't want to miss tonight. The thing I'm playing at later tonight is an event called Folkify, and it's on. It used to be on once a month. It's on at various times. It's a crowd of musicians, most of whom are also actors as well, which I think helps. And what they do is they have a night of anything but folk songs, but done in a folk style, which is quite awesome. So basically you don't introduce the songs, you start playing and then see how long it takes the audience to guess what the song is, because they change the rhythm, they change the arrangements, and it can change the song quite markedly. So they're really good fun. So I'm just doing a guest slot later. I'm doing one song, but I'm not going to say, just in case anybody watching happens to nip into the Victorian Bar and the Tron Theatre. No spoilers. So you'd have to go along to a Folkify night, but they're really worthwhile. They're good. They also do a folk challenge, which is in the first half they ask the audience to suggest a song that they could folkify, and then they choose, the best one that they think will have the best results, and then they just rehearse it in the interval and then put it on in the second half. So
it could be something
exciting.
that they've never played before.
It usually is something they have never played before. They just do an arrangement right there, right then, and it's exciting. So yeah,
and have to put it into a folk style as well.
Yep, absolutely.
That's quite a challenge.
It is a challenge. Yeah, it's good though.
It sounds good fun though.
Yeah, and they've guest artists, and then everybody joins in the finale. So it's a good night. So I'm doing that a wee bit later.
Where's that again?
It's in the Tron Theatre, the Victorian Bar in the Tron Theatre. It's a nice venue.
So if anyone watching is in Glasgow tonight, fire along straight after this.
Yes, absolutely. You never know what's going to happen.
It'll be starting about now, isn't it?
Starts at 8:30. Yep, and I think it's on to till nearly 11. So I'll be there for the second half. So get along there. It's good. Well worth it.
And it sounds a fun night for the audience to work out what's going on. Yes. It must be quite fun for the performers as well, because you're sitting there looking out into the audience to see who's worked out what you're playing. And
see when the penny drops. Yeah, absolutely. It's good fun. Yeah, I mean, maybe later on in this session I might do one of the songs that I did through Folkify. I'm not sure. I might do. You never know. I won't do the one I'm going to do tonight.
No, don't want to give that away.
No, I don't want to give that away. I might do a different one that I would have done. Yes, indeed.
Before that, shall we have another original?
Yep, absolutely. And let's have a think. I think what I'd like to do is, in honour of this being, obviously, sorry, all my songs involve long stories. That's just the way it goes. I wanted to play this particularly because it's 100 years since the end of the First World War, and obviously a lot of people are thinking about war and its impact. I wrote this following song in honour of my dad, who was a conscientious objector in the Second World War. And I was at a talk the other day about what happened to conscientious objectors, and it was not, it wasn't an easy path. They had to go before tribunals and justify, their decision. In my dad's case, it was the way he'd been brought up. He'd been brought up to have certain beliefs that, that of international beliefs that you can't take arms against your fellow man and woman.
No, and it takes a huge act of bravery to go against the national mood where everyone is clamouring to go off to war and to say, no, this is not right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was hard, but he had the backing of his family and organisations that he was part of. I think for lots of other people, they didn't have that, and they were just on their own facing these tribunals. And they had. For my dad, I don't think it was too bad. He drove ambulances during the war. I think for other people, they would be working in farms, and sometimes the conditions might not be great. It's just a story that's not it's not told that often, actually.
No, it's not anything like as widely told as you hear all the kind of the war hero stories, and that gets widely publicised, and that'll be all over the news at the moment. But you don't hear so many of the other stories that were around from then.
No, not at all. So that's why I'm particularly keen to do this one today. So so this is in honour of my dad, and it's called Bonnie Fechter. You're my Bonnie Fechter, 'cause you're no going to fight. You're my Bonnie Fechter, 'cause I know wrong from right. You'll no be pushed around. You're the apple o' my eye, and anyone says different, they'll hate to contend with me. My son, I'm so proud of you. Yeah, I know you're in mind, but that's easy when ye are surrounded by your own kind. But when you're up against it, it's hard to stay so true to what you believe in. That's why I'm so proud of you. The world's gone mad for war, it's happening all round. There's posters calling you to fight in each and every tune. They say this one's a just war, no like the one before. To me it's all just killing, with someone keeping score. You're my Bonnie Fechter, 'cause you're no going to fight. You're my Bonnie Fechter, 'cause I know wrong from right. You'll no be pushed around. You're the apple o' my eye, and anyone says different, hate to contend with me. I brought you up till I believe that people are the same, no matter where they come from or what like is their aim. Our governments might be falling out, but territory and land, but for ordinary folk like us, it's time to take a stand. So let Haitians sort it out. Would they risk their lives for us? Put them all into a room and listen to the fuss. Our fight is no way common folk. We don't want them to die. Your stand is mighty brave, son. You don't want to live a lie. You're my bonny factor, 'cause you're no going to fight. You're my bonny factor, 'cause you I know wrong from right. You'll no be pushed around. You're the apple o' my eye, and anyone says different, they'll hate to contend with me. You're my bonny factor, you're the apple o' my eye.
That's a beautiful song, and a story that, as we say, not told us anything like as often as it should be.
No, it's not. In fact, we heard from the talk that I went to the other day. It was given by a historian who'd been researching conscientious objectors, but said he had difficulty getting the information, so it's not readily available.
There's not a lot of information on. I don't know if there was much kept on these stories.
Not sure. Possibly not. So yeah. So it's important to keep the memory alive of what people that had to stand up for the beliefs in different ways. So yeah, it's a story worth telling, I thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so just to quickly say, this is live from the Livingroom gigs, and this is our Songwriter Session, which we do every Wednesday night. And we've got Pauline Vallance in as our guest artist this week. If there's anybody watching that's got any questions or just wants to say hi or just leave a wee message, then you can use the chat room here on Twitch. Leave us a wee message that'll pop up on the screen, and we'll read them out as we go along. If you've got any questions about the set, about the stories, just get in touch with us. So what's the next song?
Well, I was talking about Folkify, so I'll maybe do a song that I folkified before.
Oh yeah,
it might be an idea to do that. Yeah, so I think so. In true Folkify tradition, then I will not introduce it. I will just do
leave
this
us
song.
to guess.
And leave you guessing. See how long it takes you to work out what this song is. So here we go. Once I'd love, and it was a gas. Soon turned out, had a heart of glass. Seemed like the real thing, only to find mucho mistrust, loves from behind. Once had love, and it was divine. Soon turned out, I was losing my mind. Seemed like the real thing, I was so blind. Mucho mistrust, loves from behind. In between, what I find is pleasing and I'm feeling fine. Love is so confusing, there's no peace of mind. If I fear I'm losing you, it's just no good. You cheating like you do, do do do, do 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 gas. Soon turned out was a pain in the ass. Seemed like the real thing, only to find mutual mistrust, loves from behind. Lost inside, adorable illusion, and I cannot hide. I'm the one you're using, please don't push me aside. We could have made it grooving, yeah. In between, what I find is pleasing and I'm feeling fine. Love is so confusing, there's no peace of mind. If I fear I'm losing you, it's just no good. You cheating like you do, do do do, do 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 do
Fantastic. So we've got our first message come in on the chat room. This is from Kenzie Mac Music, which is Fee Mackenzie, who's been over for a session a few weeks ago. She is loving the harp. That's very cool. See that there.
Cool. Thank you.
And I've also hit the point in the show where I'm having to spend most of my time trying to keep the cat off the laptop.
The cat's in control.
Tinker has joined us again. So if anything weird comes up on the screen, or like you suddenly see like random strings of characters that are coming up in the chat room, it's because she's walking across the keyboard.
There actually is a song called Kitten on the Keys, but I don't know it. But it does exist, and that would be appropriate.
Yeah, every week we have the same thing with her.
She's a cat with a plan.
Yes, I don't know what the plan is.
Yep.
There's something going on in there, but none of us know what's happening. But yeah, she's sat here with me. We'll see how long she stays. She stays quite peaceful. Are you gonna behave? Or are you gonna bite my nose? You're gonna bite my nose. And Ben Popparts, hi Ben. Yeah, we got the harp up the stairs.
Yes. Wasn't too bad actually, but I didn't realise how bad it was till I got to the top of the stairs, and then it all caught up with me. But it's a bit of
a hike up on the top floor here.
Yes.
So I think you've got a kitten audience now.
That's good. Yeah.
She's going to sit there and stare at you while she play.
That's okay. I don't have any songs about cats, but no, I don't. But never mind. Oh, she's turning her back now.
She had you don't have any songs about cats.
Nope, no songs about cats. Cats would be tricky to write about, actually. There's so many hidden depths. I don't know if I could do a cat justice.
Yeah, I went through a phase where I was trying to dig out as many cover songs with cats in them as I could find. Like the Cure, Love Cats, and Our House has got the bit about the cats in it.
Right. That'd be interesting.
Actually, just speaking of cover songs, and you're talking about folkifying them for the gig. What's the process of picking out a song to do for that? Are there songs that work particularly well for folkifying? Are there songs that don't work for it?
Well, I don't know how. I mean, I'm not. There's it's other folk that do the main bulk of it. I'm usually there as a guest person, so I actually don't know how. I think they just go through songs and just try and pick a variety of songs, from different eras, and that they think would work well. I mean, I've gone on as a guest artist, so I've been on a few times. So I just I don't know, just things pop into my head that I think might be quite good to do. Yeah, I mean, Heart of Glass, well, that was my era, I'm afraid. That's so I tend to do songs from that kind of era. I mean, I've done that. I've done what else have I done? I did a Susie Quattro song. I think I did Devil Gate Drive as a kind of like Steel Eye Span, Devil Gate Drive, all jolly. I can't think what other ones I've done. Just random things. I mean, if anybody out there's got suggestions for folkifying, there's certain things that you think. I suppose things that are quite different that you think would be quite different to folkify.
We don't want to give away the one that you're doing tonight,
No,
but
no, I'm not going to mention
you
it.
told me before we went on here, and it's not something that I don't think I've ever heard it played on a harp before.
No, and with any luck, I might keep it in my repertoire, because that's happened with a few of them. I've kept in there.
Do you find the songs that work quite well? That suit the harp?
Yeah, some of them do. Yeah, so that I did. For one of the other ones, I did an Adele cover, and I'm afraid I'll whisper this in case there's Adele fans out there, but I'm not. So it's one I will not be including in my repertoire, but I was keen to do. I did a kind of reggae-fied version of Someone Like You, but I'm not going to do that. It's not in my repertoire. I quickly discarded that one.
So it's interesting to try things out that are a wee bit outside your kind of usual range of material, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Even if sometimes they don't work, you don't keep them in, but it's interesting to give them a go.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, it's good to try out different things. Yeah. Talking of, I'll maybe do a wee quick plug for a gig I've got coming up. Is that a good time to plug a gig? I'm doing a gig on the 24th of September in Webster's Theatre. If anybody's heard of that, I haven't been there yet, but I've heard lots of good things about the venue. And 24th of November. I think it starts at 7:30, and if anybody's interested, I've got an event up on my Facebook page, my Pauline Vallance page, or contact me for tickets.
Is there a ticket link on your websites?
Do you know, I haven't put it on my website. Thanks for thinking of that. I'm not doing my joined up thinking. It's hard. It's I don't know how other songwriters and performers find it, but it's doing the promotion and publicity is quite a tricky. It sort of takes a different mindset, doesn't it?
It's a very different thing from the creative side of it, the kind of business aspect of it. We'll put it's not on the website at the moment, but we'll put a link to that on the screen. It's
that would be fun.
paulinevallance.co.uk. So that's
excellent.
That's the link in the chat room
and
there.
I'll put the ticket link on that as well. Thanks for thinking of that. Got to think of all these things.
Yeah. But it's on your Facebook page.
Yeah,
and
it is indeed. Yep.
So if you go onto Facebook and look for you on there, you'll find it there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, but not looking forward to the selling tickets aspect. But there we go. I'm sure we've got to do these things.
It's not quite as fun as the performing the gigs.
No, it's not.
To flog the tickets.
I know. It's really not. But anyway, what can you do?
We've all of us musicians have been there at some point or another.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how other folk approach things. I just try and do as many varied gigs as possible. I just try and get out there as much as possible. Any advice from other songwriters would be welcome. I quite like a variety of gigs. I get the feeling you probably do as well. I don't like to just do. Obviously my songs are fairly they're on the folky side, but I don't like to just do like folky gigs. I quite like doing other places that you wouldn't expect to see a harp. It's nice when you get
a lineup that covers a lot of different things. It's not just it's another guy with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear something a little bit more unusual.
Yeah, that's my selling point. Me, but unusual until everybody starts playing harps, and then it won't be unusual anymore.
Well, funny you should say that. But we've got Emma Durkin coming in a couple of weeks.
Yes, I know Emma well. Yes, I know. Yeah, it's like buses. You wait for ages for a harp, and then two come along at once. Absolutely.
Welcome along to the show. We've got another guest in the chat room there.
Cool.
Hope you're enjoying tonight's show here, and if there's anything you want to ask about what's going on, just fire a wee message into the chat room.
Yeah.
This is our songwriter session here on Live from the Livingroom Gigs with Pauline Vallance, the guest artist this week. Yep. So we shall have some more music.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do a fairly recent song. I've tended to do quite a lot of songs with literary kind of references, and earlier this year I was visiting Haworth, where the Brontes lived and worked. Obviously, between the three Bronte sisters, they wrote Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre, Tenant of Wildfell Hall, etc. And it was just quite amazing actually going to where they'd lived and the table that they'd actually written their books.
I had to see where they actually were and where they'd made all this.
Yeah, and the moors where they'd wandered, and the houses beside the cemetery, and just the whole thing, just to actually see what had inspired them. So I wrote a song kind of about their lives. So I'll do that one for you just now. Yeah, I'll tell you more about it after. Here we go. they paced, prisoners of time and place. From the outside they had nothing, from the outside they went nowhere, from the outside no one saw what took place within. In their minds they were free to roam, far from the bounds of their beloved home. From the outside they were pitied, from the outside they were lonely, from the outside no one saw what took place within. And you can't keep a cage bird in, no bars will hold that soaring spirit within. Nothing can prevent her being what she's meant to be. Free, free, free. One of them was like a bird of prey, soaring high o'er the moors by day. From the outside she was awkward, from the outside she was strange, from the outside no one saw the fire burned deep within. One of them was like a gentle dove, her overriding force was love. From the outside she was timid, from the outside she was humble, from the outside no one saw her magic inner world. And you can't keep a cage bird in, no bars will hold that soaring spirit within. Nothing can prevent her being what she's meant to be. Free, free, free. And they reached out to the world. They found power in their words, wrote the things they could not speak out loud, ideas that went soaring high, ideas that went soaring high. One of them was like a robin proud, small and sprightly, but stands out from the crowd. From the outside she was humdrum, from the outside she was nothing, from the outside no one saw the fighting spirit there. And you can't keep a cage bird in, no bars can hold that soaring spirit within. Nothing can prevent her being what she's meant to be. Free, free, free. Round and round and round they paced.
fantastic there. Just before we go into the next one, I'll just put up the link to your website again, because I just noticed that there was a typo with the first time I put it up. So let's make sure that I've just mistyped it again. So I'm trying to type with a microphone around me.
Multitasking.
Yes.
Multitasking.
So that's got a correctly spelt link up so that people can click through that and actually get to your website.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that's that there now. So you can click through to that and get all the details from your site now.
Fab. Thank you.
So you said you were going to talk a wee bit more about the inspiration for that song, yeah?
Yes. Well, it's just really about their lives. The three sisters were very different kind of characters. Emily was the one that wrote Wuthering Heights, and she was, not the most sociable of women. She just was happier being at home at the parsonage, and that was fine. Anne was the one who didn't die at the parsonage. She died in Scarborough, and she was just quite gentle, quite religious, I think. And then Charlotte was the one who wrote Jane Eyre, who was a tiny woman apparently, but very feisty. Yeah. And she survived her sisters and ended up being quite famous actually, and kind of holding her own in literary circles in London, etc. But they all died, really young. I mean, it's a really sad story. Their father outlived all of them. I think there was 6 or 7 children altogether. Hold on, I should know that. 6 children altogether, and they all died before him. And he was left in the parsonage. Yeah, he was left in the parsonage. He died. He lived till he was 83 or something, 83, 84, and all his children died before him.
That was a part of the story I'd never heard before.
Yeah. So I mean, their lives are actually, as amazing as anything in their books. Yeah. To be quite honest, their lives were as eventful in many ways. And they didn't travel very much. I mean, most of what they wrote was from their imaginations. Really, they lived in this parsonage, and I think it was probably livelier than folk give them credit for. But it was, they didn't move a lot in social circles. So a lot of the books came from their imaginations.
6 children, it's going to be lively.
What was that?
If there's 6 children growing up there, it will be lively.
Yeah. Well, mainly 4. 2 of them died quite young at school. So there was 4. Yeah. I mean, it is a fascinating story. I mean, there's loads I could probably talk about for the rest of the time. But so there was the 3 sisters. There was the brother who they thought was the real genius. He was the one that was going to save them all and be the major book writer or artist or something. But he something went wrong with him, and he was a bit of a drinker and didn't quite follow through on his promise. And when the 3 sisters got published, they didn't tell him because they thought he'd be too upset that they were getting published and he didn't. So it's anyway, you don't put all these things obviously in it's not room to put it all in a song, but hopefully
it's interesting to hear, because I knew the books, but I didn't really know any of the story of their life outside of the books.
Yeah. So. No, it's quite something. There were, and see Charlotte, the one that survived the other sisters, and she was a fairly strong character. I mean, she carried on writing even through all the tragedy, because her 2 sisters and brother died within months of each other.
Within months?
Yep. So, I know. Sorry to put a downer in your evening, but that's what happened. Yeah. I haven't quite actually decided a title for that song. I had called it Becoming Genius, but I don't know if I'm not sure. It's a title that sprang out, but then I thought, is that a wee bit pretentious? So if anybody's got thoughts, I sometimes ask audiences if they have any other thoughts for titles.
If there's any suggestions, leave them in the chat room.
Yeah, I mean, how easily do you find titles for songs?
It's something that I'm really bad at. I just tend to pick out like the first line of the chorus and go with that unless something better comes along. But and then I could look back and think, is that the best you could do for the title? I like a lot of the songs I've written, but then you introduce them, it's like, this one is called.
Yep. Yes, I suppose I usually just find a word that's in the song, but that one I just wasn't sure. So that's Any thoughts? If anybody out there has got a better title, that would be fine. Somebody suggested it From Within or something, but not sure. It's the one I've struggled with to get a proper title.
What did you say the name of the the house, the museum was?
It's in a place called Haworth, Haworth, and it's just the Bronte Parsonage Museum, I think is its official title. And it's the house where they lived and worked, and you can actually see the table where they wrote the books.
Sounds worth a visit.
Yeah, no, it really is. I don't know why it took me so long to to actually get round to visiting it, but it's well worth it.
Yeah. Well, we're coming towards the end of the show. We've got about a quarter of an hour left before you're heading off to your next gig tonight.
I know, I can't believe this.
You're very, very busy tonight.
Oh, it's just reluctance to say no and a bit of bad planning. I'm sure we all do that, or maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Any excuse to play,
Well, exactly. Yeah. If you can cram 2 or 3 things in the one night, why not?
Yeah. Get a few gigs on the go. Get a few new people hearing your music. It's all to the good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, yes. Yeah. Well, hopefully they like what they hear, and that'll be all to the good.
I think people are enjoying it. We've had quite a few positive messages coming in through the chat room.
Cool.
So what should we have from you now?
Right, I think I might play a song from way back. Actually, one of the first, maybe the third song that I'd ever written. Yep, I think I'll do this one. It's called This Working Life, and I wrote it when I was just faced with a particular work situation, and realised that you can share a workspace with people but not really know what amazing hobbies they might get up to in their spare time. So it's kind of about that. So it's called This Working Life. Day after day I go in and I work all the day, and I'm surrounded by people who think that they know me and say that they do, but they don't really know me. No, they really don't know me at all. For I bake Empire biscuits, I go for long walks, I use satin sheets, but I leave on my socks. I listen to jazz, but I like to play rock. When I play lead guitar, I feel people might mock. I like watching films, especially film noir. When I go salsa dancing, I feel quite a star. Daily I carry out tasks and I do what I'm told, and they think that that's all there is to me, and I'm getting old, but they're wrong. They don't really know me. No, they really don't know me at all. For I bake Empire biscuits, I go for long walks, I use satin sheets, but I leave on my socks. I listen to jazz, but I like to play rock. When I play lead guitar, I feel people might mock. I like watching films, especially film noir. When I go salsa dancing, I feel quite a star. They don't really know me. No, they really don't know me at all.
Fantastic stuff. Shall we quickly squeeze a couple more songs in before you're having to head off? We've got about 10 minutes of the show left, so let's just fill it up with as much music as we can before our time is up tonight.
Okay.
And so what shall we go on today?
Well, I'll do a song, another kind of literary inspired one called Troika Ride. And it's based on a book called The House by the Divina. And it's the song's a true story of a woman who had to make a journey in the middle of the Russian winter in 1880. I mean, sorry, somebody told me my songs are like history lessons. They kind of are. But it's a true story. 1880s Russia. She had to travel by Troika to meet the Tsar to save her husband. I'll explain why in the song. And it was the middle of winter. She, freezing cold, and she was 8 months pregnant when she made the journey. And earlier this year, I actually got to meet her great granddaughter.
Aye.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Because that brought the song alive. So it's so it's called Troika Ride. Under the watch of the deep frozen sky, the Troika glides on and on. The horses are galloping free o'er the snow, and the cold freezes deep to the bone. The bells on the reins ring out cheerful and gay. You would think for a jaunt they were bound, but desperate need fed this journey so long, the passengers made not a sound. On urged the driver, though temperatures fell and frozen birds dropped from the sky. The horses responded, though ice clogged their breath, till the end of the journey was nigh. La 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 la. They had set out in hope from the far frozen north on a mission of danger and strife. My babushka, so strong, had to plead with the Tsar to save her dear husband's life. He had injured a soldier, an accident foul, and was to Siberia doomed. She knew if he went there he'd never return, or his family the sentence loomed. On went my babushka, so fearless and brave, though she carried her unborn son, determined to plead and appeal to the Tsar, the one way his life could be won. La 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 la. On went the horses, on through the snow, suddenly maddened with fear. Chased down by wolves, they ran for their lives, till the end of the journey was near. La 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 la. Then at last was the end of the road, the streets of St. Petersburg near. My babushka had just one more ordeal to face, and was once again stricken with fear. She entered the palace, she tried to look calm, and finally met with her fate. The Tsar, who had sway o'er the rest of her life, he listened to what she would state. Down on her knees my babushka did fall, and blinded with tears she did pray. The Tsar looked on kindly and helped her to stand, and said, your husband is safe. Oh, the Tsar looked on kindly and helped her to stand, and said, your husband is safe. La 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 la.
That is quite a story.
Yes, it is.
And remarkable to wind up actually meeting the direct descendant as well. How did that come about?
Well, I say it was based on a book called The House by the Divina, which is all true. And I was explaining. I was, explaining a bit about the story at a gig, and a couple came and talked to me at the end and said that they knew the grandniece of the author, which is obviously the great granddaughter of the woman in the story, in the song rather, and would I like to be introduced? And I was like, oh, would I? Yeah. So they passed on my details, and I finally did hear from her. So it was just, to her, the woman that wrote the book was, was just a great aunt who was a great storyteller, but she was a family member. It was quite hard to hear. Not quite hard. It was quite interesting to hear her kind of take on it, which was it was just a great aunt, but just she produced this amazing book, and it's all true. She just really captured. She spent the first few years of her life living in Russia just before the revolution, basically. So she captured a kind of gone era.
Yeah, it was just by chance that somebody at one of your gigs just happened to know them.
Yeah. It would be just by chance. Yeah, I can't remember how they knew her, but they did, and that's amazing. I can't remember how they knew each other, but it was just one of those things. It was amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love when songs come alive like that. So it's
yeah. See, that must really could bring it to life when you've had that that connection to it.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I'm glugging the water, but it's just dry throat.
No, not at all. It's a long time to be playing doing this these sessions.
Yeah, no, just struck with dry throat today. Singer's nightmare, but there we go. So glugging the water.
Get your throat going for one last number. So what we're going to close the show with?
Now I'm trying to decide. Do you want something light-hearted or not, or more thoughtful? I actually don't mind. Do you want to choose?
Should we finish on an upbeat note?
Yes, let's do that. Okay, light-hearted it is. Again, it's a song I wrote quite a few years ago. Inspired, or I don't know if that's the right word, by the X Factor phenomenon, of which I'm not really a fan. I have to say, I think there's an incredible amount of talent and a credible amount of songwriting talent, particularly around Glasgow.
There certainly is.
Isn't there? Yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's kind of, I think, the opposite of the kind of X Factor phenomenon, which is all about singing loud and high. And anyway, so I wrote this song kind of about that, and it's called the X Factor song.
Wonder if Ben Poppart is still watching. He's got quite some interesting views on the X Factor himself.
Really? Oh, I'd be interested to hear.
So Ben, if you're still there, have a listen to the song and let us know what you think.
Yeah. I entered this competition, hoping it would change my life, that it would bring me an escape from all my troubles and my strife. I'm just an ordinary person, trying to make it through the days. These last few weeks have been for me a dream, a gift, a haze. They say I have a gift, but my boobs may need a lift. This journey I am on, it takes me further down the road. Step by step it takes me until I ease the load. I'm dreaming the life and living the dream, and all that's left for me to do is end the chorus on a scream. My day job's really boring. I work in a burger bar. My family always said to me that someday I'd go far. My father left when I was young. My brother has special needs. My granny's battling illness, but still she does good deeds. I just don't want to fail. This song I hope to nail. This journey I am on, it takes me further down the road. Step by step it takes me until I ease the load. I'm dreaming the life, I'm living the dream, and all that's left for me to do is end the chorus on a scream. The judges seem to like me, even though I sing off key. My hometown are all out in force to show support for me. I've started crying every week, the pressure's really on. All I need now is a key change to really nail this song. This journey I am on, it takes me further down the road. that's left for me to do is end the chorus on a scream. Ooh.
Fantastic. This has been live from the Living Room Gigs Songwriter Session with Pauline Vallance, live in session tonight. So, Pauline, thank you very much for coming in and joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
For bringing your harp in and bringing these fantastic songs. It's been a pleasure listening to you tonight.
Thank you very much.
And we'll let you get on to your next gig now.
It's okay, thank you.
Get to run off to the Tron Theatre, is that right?
Yep, that's right, for Folkify.
That's where you're playing tonight. And then the Webster's Theatre gig on the 24th
Yep.
of November, yep.
Yep, and if anybody's in is it Preston Pans or over in the East Coast, I've got a gig on the 17th of November, a cheese and wine. I think that's all at the moment. Yep, but 24th of November, Webster's, that's the one. Yes.
And so I've gone to onto Pauline's Facebook page. You can find all the information for that there. And I'll be back next week with the next Songwriter Session. We've got Flew the Arrow coming in then. So thank you for everyone who's tuned in. Hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. And we'll see you again soon. Take care. Good night.